Simply put, are goals that are set to protect the planet, end poverty across the world, and ensure that people everywhere enjoy peace and prosperity. There are 17 SDGs, and they touch on a number of issues. They touch on ending poverty, they touch on improving healthcare, they touch on improving gender equality, education, industrializing countries across the world, talks about fighting climate change and a host of other laudable initiatives.
The SDGs are very relevant to us as a country and other developing countries as well, because they talk about very key issues such as ending poverty, such as hunger, such as unemployment, such as climate action. So these are very key issues that are happening in our country just now, and the government, the private sectors, CSOs, and all the relevant bodies need to come together to forge ahead and look for a solution.
This book is basically saying that in order for us to achieve the SDGs, we need bold and innovative ideas. We need transformative, disruptive ideas to achieve this. And so the editors have reached out to 21 global leaders, so ranging from a Nobel laureate to Amina Mohammed, who is the current Under-Secretary General or Deputy Secretary General rather, for the United Nations, a Michelin chef, just a wide range of people, and ask them, what is your idea that you think is necessary to push forward the global goals for us to achieve them by 2030? And so that's what this book is about. So out of the 21 leaders, we end up with 17 big bets for a better world.
The editor-in-chief of 17 Big Bets for a Better World, Stig Takman, joins us from Copenhagen, Denmark, through Skype to chat briefly about the making of this book. Stig, thank you for joining us on Channels Book Club.
Thank you.
17 Big Bets for a Better World. Can you please take us through the process of creating this book?
So basically, we have to go back 1.5 years if we are going to start at the beginning. We came up with this book based on actually the title, Big Bets for a Better World. And the basic idea was to create a book or a leaflet or a campaign around the need to think around big bets for how to create a better world. And the reason for this thinking was that we had at that point recently launched the Sustainable Development Goals. And the Sustainable Development Goals kind of create a path for the next 15 years of global development, and we need to adhere to and live up to ultimately in 14 years from now. The challenge with this agenda is that we don't have sufficient finance. There is a significant funding gap. So if we are to realize these highly important goals, then we need either to find and unlock additional funding, or we need to think creatively. We need to figure out ways where we don't necessarily need a lot of funding, but creative ways to reach the same goals as if we had funding. We figured out, okay, we want to do the book, then who do we want in the book? And we wanted to have very, very top-down, international and significant voices to come up with their individual and personal big bets for how do we actually reach the 17 Sustainable Development Goals.
Considering the decision makers in Nigeria and other developing countries, did you worry about how to effectively communicate so that they can understand what you're trying to pass across in this book?
My hope is that it can be an inspirational book that can inspire people to think creatively and innovatively and entrepreneurial around how do we actually make the world a better place. This is a compilation of top-down big bets, so it's high-level people who have contributed, but I think it's important to say, well, we need bottom-up thinking. We need entrepreneurs, we need civil society organizations, innovators, students at universities to come up with their solutions. We are facing immense obstacles, large and significant challenges all over the world, in Nigeria as well, which makes it rather hard to reach the Sustainable Development Goals. But if we go down this path and we all kind of share our knowledge and use our knowledge, I think inspirational cases can quite easily turn into very actionable projects that can then make an underground difference.
What stood out for you while you were putting this book together? I'm guessing you had a whole lot of experiences.
So I think there have been many very interesting touch points throughout the work with the book. I think it has been fascinating to lock down the actual contributors and have conversations with them around, well, how do you want to put together your article and what is actually the argument that you're going to make. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the kind of ability to be in a position where you can actually push people in a direction to be even more creative than they imagined that they could be. Because these high-level stakeholders and politicians, they usually have a kind of predefined space within which they work and think, and we were able to kind of make some holes in that and push their thinking beyond their kind of original starting point. So that was great as well.
Stig, thank you very much for joining us on Channels Book Club, and congrats on your book, 17 Big Bets for a Better World.
Thank you so much. Take care.